I gotta get headphones.
Where are you going?
Get my headphones.
Oh, okay, you can do that because we're live right now.
I
But
forgot.
we're live. But anyway, this is behind the scenes look. If anybody's looking, listening, coming up in about 3 minutes, we will be live right after Fox News break. We'll be live on the air. If you want to listen to
Yeah,
us
I
here
just got the
on
notification. We're live.
on YouTube, then that's cool too. We're good with that. Like that. And we like to hear from you. 910-333-0139. Coming up at 7:30 this morning, we're going to finally learn since the White House doesn't seem to know what the definition of recession is. We got a gentleman we're going to ask at
Yeah.
7:30 this morning, and also about the Fed interest rate, which is they
Went
increased
up
that
again
yesterday.
yesterday.
At what point in time are we officially in a recession? I don't know. We'll
Well,
find out.
yeah, it depends on what news station you're
Yeah.
listening to. One says we are, and then another one said this morning that there's signs of it, but
Yeah.
not likely. And I'm like,
We've also got tragic news out of Morehead City yesterday. There was
yes.
a fatality. Got a little details on that this morning coming up. That's going to be at 7 o'clock, right after Fox News. And Virginia man came on down to Onslow County earlier this month. Apparently, according to the sheriff's office, he shot a guy a couple times. And
Oh,
he's in jail, but he's actually got a $500,000 bond set on him.
wow.
Yeah, for murder. So, anyway, those are some of the things we're talking about today. For you folks out there in parts of the county who are having problems with the water, I'd love to hear from you. We understand there's been a water outage a couple times, and for those of you on that system, the Rain Tree area and other
Rain
places,
tree, yes.
they got to you got to boil water before you drink it. You
Yes.
don't have to before you bathe in it.
Right.
Okay, hang in there. We'll be right back. And boy, you having a good time today already, aren't we?
Oh, yes, we are. We're already talking stuff up and
Yeah.
getting all upset.
We're gonna be talking trash. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
It's kind of like we do every day. And
We should just name the show Live and Local Talk.
trash.
Real trash.
Yeah, there we go. We're gonna be trashy. I'm Rayford Brown,
And I'm Lee Barrows.
and Kelly apparently took ill overnight,
Yes.
and so
Yes.
she's home recuperating, and I hope she just takes some time off,
I
gets
think
herself
I,
rested
I
up.
think she just needs to get her a bottle of liquor and just drink it all away.
There's your diagnosis, Kelly.
That's right. Just get you a
Uh,
big old bottle of Jack or something.
no, she's got something else she likes, Rolling Rock or whatever it is.
Oh, I don't
I
know.
don't know what it is either. So anyway,
She teaches me a lot.
I don't have a clue, but whatever. Lots going on in the world. We're going to find out today whether we're officially in a recession or not when the numbers come out. Supposedly, if the gross national product, is that what it's called?
Yes.
If it is bad for 2 quarters in a row, we know we got 1 quarter down. It's bad.
Oh, that one is in the books. Yes.
That one's in the toilet. And so when the second one comes out today, if it is, then I don't know what the Democrats are going to call it because they certainly don't want to use that R word,
No, they
recession. It
don't.
just doesn't make
No.
sense for them to
They
use
just
that.
paint a rosy picture on everything.
Oh, Rosie is.
Gas went down a little bit. So, oh, look what we did.
Yeah, well, you got it up there, so
That's
bringing
right.
it down doesn't work.
And I do have to say, I filled up yesterday, and the last time I filled up, it was $100 and some odd cents. And yesterday, it was $68. $68.
And we're proud of that, aren't we?
I was happy over that.
The Democrats are just the Biden administration right out of the White House. Oh, look what we did for you. No, look what you did to us.
Yes.
You put us here. You put us in this spot. And I'm just ill with all of you. If you're ill, here's a number to call. You want
That's
to
right.
vent?
Come vent with
Vent
us.
with us. 910-333-0139.
And look, you don't have to live in this area. I mean, we're broadcasting all across the United States, across the world
Across
here.
the
Call
world.
in.
If you're from China, give us a call.
Yeah, do. Please.
That's the number to call.
That's right.
I have no idea what I said. I didn't
have
say
no
anything.
idea
It
what
was
you said
called
either, but-
gibberish.
Yeah.
So anyway, you can ring us up at any time, 910-333-0139. Coming up at 7:30, we're going to have a former co-host in here,
Yes.
Joe McLaughlin. He's a
Joe.
financial advisor.
Talked to him last night.
And I called him last night too, asked him if he could stop by and say, listen, tell me what this interest rate that the feds have done going up 0.75% doesn't sound
Yes.
like a whole lot, but
It is. Well,
what does it mean? What kind of signs are there out there?
buy a house and see the difference.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yes.
That'll definitely do it. Long-term interest rates.
You certainly shook up a lot of people yesterday because I was getting phone calls like, where can I find that website?
I have said I
over the
had
Marines.
a couple of those too.
United States Marine Corps moving
Yep.
out. Well,
Well,
not all of them, but
we got about 40,000 active duty Marines stationed at Camp Lejeune. Okay, 40,000. We're likely, according to a really smart guy, going to lose about 1/4 of those, about 10,000 Marines will be moving to other areas. And I think there's also a reduction in force coming total
right.
of
Yes.
all the military units. And that will also impact us. So we're going to lose 10,000 moving to the West Coast, it looks like. That still got me irritated. I don't know what kind of a military maneuver that is. It just doesn't sound good.
We need to have Senator Tillis or Congressman Murphy weigh in on this.
Yeah, well, Congressman Murphy, he's ticked.
Oh, yeah. Don't get him ticked either.
He's not a happy camper right now. And
Yes.
I don't know what he's doing behind the scenes, but he's probably doing something.
I'm sure it's his district too.
Yeah.
This affects him too.
All this stuff kind of stayed quiet, but it's been out there, but it's been inside the military, the military.com sites,
Right.
whatever. But it's out there. It's being discussed, has been discussed. There are a bunch of generals retired.
Mhm.
They can talk about it. Those who are active duty, you say something bad, you're not going to be active duty anymore. You're going to
That's
be
right.
toast.
That's right.
Or in
We saw that
confinement.
happen to one here locally.
So these retired guys, they're unhappy. One of those happens to be a retired general who lives here. I'm going to try to reach out. Well, I will reach out and see if he'll come on the show. So we'll get a little bit of inside information from him.
That would be awesome.
He's a businessman in town now, retired Marine Corps. So I'll reach out and see if we can't get him
Is
to
he
come
my
in here.
favorite you're talking about?
Probably.
Good.
So the retired generals are really unhappy, not just because it's Jacksonville, but because the move strategically makes no sense.
No,
It's a dumb
I think
thought
so.
process.
I read further into the stories, and it was being said that this is a move to get ready for war with China.
Yeah, right.
Why are we like what? I mean, I think we
well,
need to know.
Moving these troops and the units, the 53 squadrons, the Osprey squadrons, and the artillery They've already
Yes.
dumped the tanks.
Yes, they have. No more
That
tanks.
started during Obama's days. That's
Yes.
when that happened.
Yeah. Well,
So
I know that's like I
that's
was
a sign of
telling
the times.
yesterday. It used to be you could ride down 17 South, and you've got the overpasses there, and you could see the tanks underneath and all the
Yep.
exercises and practices. And I haven't seen it in quite a while. But
Well,
then again, you don't think to look when you're driving down the road,
no.
so that explains that.
So we've got all that mess to deal
Well, let
with.
me just ask, where did the tanks go? What did they do with them?
Army.
Drive them in the ocean? Oh, they gave them to the Army.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. You might see Fort Bragg moving in.
Huh. Tragic news over in Morehead City yesterday morning.
Yeah, sad.
Wow. A contractor fell. He's working on the roof of the new library about 8:30 yesterday morning. The Department of Labor is investigating the accident.
OSHA, of course.
Yeah, oh, they will, but North Carolina Department of Labor is
Hmm.
involved. Claimed the life of 36-year-old Miguel Delgado. He lives in Beulaville.
Yeah.
AD's Metal Roofing Company of Morehead City, that's where he was working, started work on the new roof on Sunday. The Morehead City Library had moved into the old municipal building earlier this year. That's the site of the accident yesterday morning. The old library was shut down, and the building was, and they're going to some renovating there, and it's going to be opening up for some other activities. And I got a little information on that yesterday, so we'll stay in touch with that.
Yeah, so sad.
It is very sad, very, very
Condolences
sad.
and thoughts for his family and friends and
Oh, my
coworkers.
goodness gracious. Bond was set this week for a Virginia man who Onslow investigators say shot and killed a Hubert man earlier this month. 46-year-old James McAlee drove from Alexandria to confront 27-year-old Jared Musgrove about a relationship the victim had with McAlee's adult daughter. Okay. The two got into fisticuffs. Then they separated. But McAlee got a gun from his vehicle, and detectives say he then shot Musgrove twice, killed him. The bond on this murder charge was set at $500,000, $500,000 by a
Wow.
district court judge.
Well, good.
The victim's mother said McAlee should be in jail without benefit of bond. Okay. Out of state, I'm not sure that I disagree with her. It's basically going to end up being a second degree murder case, and you can get bond for second degree murder. Out of state resident, I have to take a lot into consideration before I would consider bond on him. But I understand that he's got a family, he's got residence in Virginia, and it is a murder charge, so he can't just run away because we can go anywhere in the country to get him. If that's the case,
exactly right.
I would. I don't know what the judge did, but on conditions of any bond, I would say if you got a passport, you're going to surrender it.
Yes.
That's
Oh,
what I would do.
definitely. Definitely.
Because you go anywhere in this country to get him, but you can't go anywhere in the world to get him. It's a different story. Some places
We had
don't
to
have.
call Dog the bounty hunter.
Some places don't have extradition to the United
Dog will
States.
go get him.
Yeah, well, Dog has his problems anyway.
I need to call him. Let's see if he'll call the show. He would be an interesting interview.
we might try to reach out and find a bondsman one day to chat with. Some interesting cases there. Hey, there's a group downtown I see when I go down to the sheriff's office.
Uh-huh.
What is it called? The Bond Chicks or something like that?
The Bond Chicks.
Yeah, it's a bunch of female bonds people.
Well, go girls.
Bonding agents.
Girls.
I thought that was funny. Oh, we got to be careful when we use things like chicks, though, because they call themselves that. I didn't call them that. Okay, so don't come screaming at me, people.
Well, yeah, we're not using I don't even know what the correct pronouns are anymore. I don't even know anymore.
Can I call you a lady? You used to be able to call people dames and stuff like that back in the good old days.
Yeah, back then. Nowadays, you'll get slapped, but
don't reach over. No, Dad.
Yeah, I don't know.
Screen up here.
I guess if you're a Republican, you can still be just a lady, a woman. If you're a Democrat, you got to be a she or birthing mom or whatever. I don't know. I just like me. I answer to most anything. It doesn't bother me.
As long as they call me for lunch or supper, I'm good to go.
That's right.
Actually, it's me doing the calling because I'm usually the one doing the cooking tonight. I like cooking.
What are you cooking tonight?
Haven't gotten there yet. I did a salad with salmon last night.
Oh, that sounds very
Yeah, it was
good.
just
Very
easy,
fresh and
not
good.
just nothing to it. And fresh tomatoes and fresh
Oh, yeah.
cucumbers from the garden.
Yes, my tomatoes aren't the cherry little teeny tomatoes are doing well,
Is
but
it
yesterday
cherries or the sweet 100s or what are they
they're
called?
the sweet ones. Oh, they're
Oh,
so good. I just sit out in the yard and eat them.
you can do that.
But the bigger ones, I thought I had gotten the big plant, the ones that
Mm,
produce the big ones. Evidently not, because they're more like the little Roma size. And yesterday I thought I would love a BLT minus the lettuce because I don't mess with that. And I
really?
thought I went out to
I
get.
thought I was the only one that didn't do the lettuce.
Well, I mean, why do you want to cover up that good bacon and tomatoes with a bunch of lettuce? So I went out and got a tomato. There was one tomato, and it wasn't very big, but I was able to slice it up enough that I had tomato on my sandwich.
That's good.
Yeah, so it worked.
I have to bring some in. We got them all over the windowsill,
Oh,
That's what I do
yes.
with them when pick them first thing. So with that way, I can sit up there and
Yes,
finish
I do
and
that too
get really nice and sweet.
before the bugs get them and start
Yeah,
eating them.
that's the big thing. I did find out that with a raised bed and starting from scratch, not using the natural soil that's down
Right,
below, that's got all sorts of stuff in it.
right.
We got Robbie got these raised beds, and we got four more. I guess she got a bunch more on order for so we can put some more in. We got, let's say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right now,
That's what I wanted to do this
and they
summer,
they
but I
look like
didn't.
horse troughs.
Yes,
But
and that's what I wanted to do.
the thing that I learned and I figured out what to do, I put gravel in the bottom.
Oh,
Okay,
good.
that's
Yes.
first for drainage. Put gravel in the bottom, then filled it up with basically topsoil up
Mhm.
to a certain point, and then I got like our buddy Richard
Yes.
wants us to do. I got the black cow or manure bags of it,
Oh,
and I put it on the top and mixed it in with the top layer,
okay.
and then I planted my stuff. Oh, did that do well?
Well, mine's not well, I ended up because I didn't get the raised beds, and, I ended up putting them in containers, and I think that's a lot of the issue that I'm having now. My peppers are growing great.
Yeah, well, some things like tomatoes, the roots they get root bound if they
Yes.
got them and don't have enough
Yes.
space for them. So got to be careful there.
But this winter, I will work on getting the raised beds in.
Yeah, you can build them yourself if you want to, but
Yes.
Robbie ordered them, and I'm glad she did because these things
I'm
they
gonna
were
have to find out. I'm gonna
so
have to
nice.
talk to her and see where she ordered them from
Okay,
and how they're doing.
but
Definitely want some.
yep, you just got to put them together when they come in.
Right.
But that's just a
Yeah,
screwdriver and
I
stuff.
learned I can't put my plants in the soil itself in the yard because the cat uses it as a litter box, and I'm like,
No, you don't want your tomatoes
I was
tasting
having to
like
put fence and netting over it just to keep the cat out.
WNBA star Brittney Griner, who's been detained in Russia on drug charges since February,
Yes.
could return to the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken revealed yesterday that the Biden administration has offered a substantial proposal for her return that includes American Paul Whelan. The details of that substantial proposal have not been revealed. The United States maintains that both of these people are being held illegally. She had stuff that's not allowed in Russia when she
Yeah.
got there.
Well, she claimed she had a doctor's note for her
It
prescription,
does
but
not
that
matter.
doesn't matter.
It's Russia.
That's right.
That doesn't, forget about it. Anyway, representatives of both Russia and the United States have been talking with each other about some sort of deal for several months now.
Yes.
I don't know what we're going
We
to
knew that.
promise them.
We knew that was going to
Yeah, well,
happen.
so who knows? Who cares?
I'm sure she was advised just plead guilty,
And
and
she
we're
was.
working at getting you back.
Yeah, pretty much. So, all right, let's take a break. 910-333-0139. Want to chat? You got time to do it right after weather.
Right?
910-333-0139. Going to tell you about a bridge when we come back.
Oh, well,
Oh my
I don't like
God.
bridges to begin with, and I watched a video the other day of the Chesapeake Bay Bridge, and,
The
in
the bridge and the tunnel.
the bridge and the tunnel, and it just looks like the bridge drops right off into water. Of course, I've been on it,
It
but it's been
kind of
years ago.
does.
Yeah, I don't no, I don't like it. I don't like it.
It goes underwater. That's
I
pretty cool.
know, but it
I've been over the
scares
top
me.
of that bridge in a
Yes?
Coast Guard cutter,
Oh,
and I've
wow.
been in it in a car.
My fear is once you get into the tunnel, what if it springs a leak while you're in there?
How long can you tread water? You're live and local, real talk on Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. As a little kid, I used to go fishing a lot with my dad,
I'm sure you
but
did.
we went pier fishing. He did not like to
Yes.
go in the ocean with the boat or anything like that. Pier fishing can be a lot of fun. It's a lot of social stuff there too, especially when you're out there late at night or fish all night. I've done that a number of times. Fishing aboard headboats can be fun too. Get out there in the ocean. You don't have to worry about the boat or doing anything. You got somebody else doing it, right? But
Right.
fishing from your own boat is the ultimate fun. I will tell you that now. Tideline Marine has boats for those of us who want to go when and where we like to go. Lund John boats, top of the line vessels for the backwaters, creeks, and rivers of this area, on sale now at Tideline. And there is the Aquasport Bay boats. Tideline was wise to order several before factories were shut down. The aqua sports are perfect when the rivers and sounds act up a bit.
Right.
Those rivers, like New River and the White Oak River, they can get really choppy.
Yes,
And
I've seen
sometimes
it.
sometimes a small John boat is just not exactly what you want.
Right.
The aqua sports, they'll get you where you want to go and they'll do it in a safe way.
They're fast boats, too.
They are fast boats. They're also great near-shore boats if Spanish mackerel or reef fishing is your cup of tea. Tideline Marine, 159 Old Bridge Street, or the banks of the New River in downtown Jacksonville. The southwesterly flow of wind continues today. 15 to 20 knots, seas 3 to 5, dominant period 5 seconds, sounds and rivers choppy. Perfect conditions for the aquasport bay boats, by the way. Southwesterly winds tomorrow, 15 to 20, seas 3 to 5, sounds and rivers choppy once again. Southwesterly winds on Saturday, 10 to 15 knots, seas 3 to 5 feet.
Okay, and today is going to be mostly sunny with a high near 95. Heat index values as high as 105. So
Triple
be careful out
digits.
there. Southwest wind around 10 miles per hour with gusts as high as 17 with a 20% chance of afternoon storms. Tonight, mostly clear with a low around 80. Friday, mostly sunny with a high near 96. Heat index values as high as 109. And a chance of rain 20%. Friday night, a low around 79. And Saturday and Sunday look to be not as hot, but it's going to be wet. 70% chance of rain both days.
Yeah, okay. Well, I got wet yesterday, just outside for a few minutes and
Oh,
soaking
yes.
wet.
Oh,
Not by
yes.
rain, internal.
If I go out, I'm not out more than 30 minutes, and then I have to come in and sit down and cool off. But this heat index it's telling you right now, oh, we're under a heat advisory. You need to be cautious outside working. You talked about the young man that fell off the roof yesterday. It's hot out
It
there.
is. It's
And
really
there's
hot.
a lot of moisture and humidity, and things are slippery, and God bless him, but yeah.
We got a gentleman at our door.
Oh, we do?
We do.
Well, let me go unlock the door.
Only in California, I hope. So a $500 million bridge in Los Angeles opened up earlier this month. It remained open 2 weeks, just 2 weeks. Police in the city of anything but angels have now closed the bridge to all traffic, not because of shoddy workmanship, not because of any terrorist threats, nothing like that. Police say it's because of illegal activity. Yep. Punks started with graffiti on this $588 million bridge. Then there have been car wrecks, and there have been illegal street takeovers by local thugs, not to mention ridiculous and dangerous stunts that were videoed for social media. LA, you don't need a bridge. You need a bigger jail on the scale of Rikers Island, perhaps, where you can make examples of your city of idiots. Ahead of the bridge's grand opening earlier this month, LA City Council member Kevin De Leon reportedly said the bridge, which was a 6-year construction project, would rival the Hollywood sign in Griffith Park as iconic images of our city. It lasted 2 miserable weeks.
Oh, my gosh.
$500 million over 6 years.
Wow.
Taxpayers of LA, congratulations.
That's why they're all trying to move east.
Absolutely.
We need to build a wall.
Yeah.
Keep them out.
I drove to, way back when we drove to California, Los Angeles. And
you drove?
Oh, yeah.
It took you a week?
2.5 days.
I don't even want to know.
Well, yeah, drive about 14 hours a day. And
right.
And with a heavy foot back in those days, there were no speed limits that anybody enforced.
It takes me 2.5 days to get to Texas. How did you get to California in 2.5 days? Well, you just continuously drive? Somebody take over?
Me, 80 to 90.
Oh, God.
Well, big old Fleetwood Cadillac. And
those Cadillacs will fly.
Yeah, they would. They would. We'll talk about tonight's congressional baseball game here in a little while.
Oh.
It's supposed to happen 7:00 tonight.
Oh, I'm sure to be on TV. I can't wait to see this.
Well, there's going to be a lot of news coverage. I guarantee you that.
All
because
right.
there's some problems in the works.
Uh-oh.
Some threats are in the works.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. So I got a suggestion for the Capitol Police who are going to be there in force.
Uh-oh.
Take the fire department.
Oh, yeah. Hose them down.
2-inch lines.
Yes.
Under pressure. We'll do it. Joe McLaughlin. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Rafe Daddy, Miss Lee.
Good morning, Joe.
How you? What you up to? Anything good?
It looks like you just came from the gym, didn't
Well, I'm not yet there.
Looks like you just came from San Antonio.
you?
Yeah, that too. But good morning. Thanks for the invite to come talk about the rate hike.
Appreciate you coming in. Yeah, 0.75%. They decided to do it. we saw it coming, knew it was going to happen.
0.75% comes on the heels of another
That's
0.75%.
right.
So if you look at the graphic, Google history of rate hikes, the Fed has not raised rates so much so fast in forever, which tells us they're very serious about getting inflation under control and perhaps being responsive to the pressure from the administration to get something under control.
Okay, hold on. Explain to me why charging me more money in interest to go buy a house is going to bring the inflation rate down.
Well, the standard understanding of inflation is too much money chasing too few products. So if inflation is being driven by excess demand, they don't want you to buy a house. They don't want you to buy a new car. So they'll make it more.
Is that what it is?
They'll make it more expensive for you to do that, thinking that will happen. And that, talking to my client mortgage lender last week, it's really slow in mortgage placements.
Really?
So yeah, if you want to get inflation under control, you want people to buy less. So apply the thumb screws, and that's what the message
Or
is.
have a pandemic. They couldn't buy it then either.
Yeah.
Did we not say 3 months ago on this show, if you're going to buy a house or a car, you better go do it now?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So and then
What's that going to do to the businesses, though? The people that sell boats, homes, and those real estate guys. What's that going to do to them? Cars.
It's gonna be painful. I went to a local car dealership to get serviced about a month ago, and the lot was empty.
Yes.
But the lot
Been
was
like
empty. I
that.
said, "My God, this is America. We build
Uh-huh.
things, right?"
Right.
But the lot was empty. Well, there's a supply chain issue. What's a supply chain?
Yeah.
Supply chain means parts made in China aren't getting here. Why are parts in China not getting
I'm
here?
going to tell you something else. So the parts to build boats, not made in China. But the boat dealers, the people who manufacture boats, have been on such a shutdown. The boat manufacturers, the parts manufacturers for motors and stuff like that,
Yeah.
they can't get people to work.
Yeah.
They got parts, but they're sitting in warehouses, but they don't have enough people when you place an order to fill the orders rapidly.
Fill the parts, yeah. Well, we got open borders to help fix that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the definition of a recession? Since the White House doesn't know.
What a joke. So historically, it's meant if you have 2 quarters of declining gross domestic product, what we make in the country.
Mhm.
And the first quarter, January through March, was a negative 1% something. And then the second quarter ended in June. And so at the end of June, I started pinging on the Atlanta Federal Reserve website. The Atlanta Federal Reserve seems to be the Federal Reserve Bank that tracks the GDP. And sure enough, towards the end of June, early July, they said, yeah, we're revising our estimates of gross domestic product downward to a negative 1 point something. And so it's been kind of interesting to watch how the media have ignored this. But today it's going to be official. They're going to say it's negative.
That means we're in a recession.
Well, that's why this week, since the beginning of the week, the administration has been pushing these lines. Well, there are alternate definitions of a recession.
Yes. What? Yeah.
So, if you can't win by the rules, if you're a progressive Democrat like Joe Biden, then you just change the rules, change the rule book. So, but what's that mean for the average citizen? I mean, the average person has felt it at the pumps since March, February. So that's not some big surprise. Prices are up.
Prices are coming down at the pump. Look what I did for you. I reduced the price of gasoline after I doubled it.
Yes. Well, you started it. That's right.
Energy drives so much of our country. And this million barrel a day drawdown of the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, even an administration official just said, we got to stop this pretty soon because I'm just a poor dumb infantryman. A million barrels a day for a year, that's 365. There's only about 460 million barrels in the reserve. So pretty soon they're going to have to stop that. And with the Russians turning the thumb screws on West Europe gas supplies, this is Joe Biden, if he were really interested in helping the country, he would declare a 5-year moratorium on green energy, go full carbon, help our NATO allies out with their economic war with Russia. But no, what did we see yesterday? Buried in all the inflation news was Manchin and Schumer have struck a deal.
That's scary.
Yeah, that's the big story from yesterday. Manchin and Schumer have struck a deal, and it's it looks like it's north of $700 billion of additional spending. Part of it's for climate, part of it's for energy, part of it's for drug relief. And how are they going to do it? Because Schumer says, well, it's not going to raise the debt one bit. How are we going to afford $700 billion? Well, we're going to raise taxes. We're going to close loopholes. We're going to allow Medicare to get better prices for medical products. And then, of course, we're going to collect more money from deadbeat IRS filers. The typical smoke and mirrors of how we're not going to have a huge debt piled on your back. But
so what is a guy to do? You're a financial advisor, a planner. So what is a guy to do these days, a family? We're going to take two different We're going to take two different situations. The guy that's young.
So step back and
First.
You might turn off the television and do some of your own research. Why, if you're an investor for the long term, as you should be, you're invested in equities, you're invested in stocks, big, small, U.S. companies, maybe some foreign. And so hold on to the truth. The truth is that the market is driven by the expectation of profitability. Yesterday, when the Fed said they were going to raise interest rates, the stock market responded positively, Dow up over 1%, other indexes higher.
So that's time to sell, right?
Absolutely not. It's time to buy. In fact,
while it's going up?
Yeah. But given the context of what we're in, where in the last year to date, you're down over 10%. Not a severe downturn given the run up that we've had since the election. So if you go ask Mr. Google Dow Jones rate of return, and then they have a little bar there that allows you to scale back over different time periods. If you go back a year, you're down over 10%, 6 months, maybe 12, 13. But if you go back 5 years, you're up 49% over the last 5 years. Just straight line averaging, that's over 9% gain on average the last 5 years. Hold on to the truth. The truth is, 3/4 of the time the market's going up, 1/4 it's going down. So what? If you want the historic returns of 8%, then you gotta slog through these periods of correction. Hold on to the truth. We're a resource-rich country. We choose not to exploit our carbon. We choose not to control our border. We choose not to make our city streets safe. That's all policy. And in America, what do we have? Typically every other November to affect policy.
An election.
An election, that's right.
And here again, do your own research. How many Democrats are filing for retirement?
A lot.
30, historic.
Yes. I've never seen it before.
And why do they do that? Well, their max value in the open market, if you want to do a lat move to a think tank or a nonprofit, your max value is now. It's not when you're a has-been. They're voting with their feet.
If they lose,
yeah,
they're useless. They're worthless.
It's like driving a car off the lot. You're 10% less valuable. Look at the polling data. I mean, there's all kinds of polls, left of center, right of center polling institutions, but go for the polls that poll likely voters, like Rasmussen or some others. And if you look at the polls with likely voters with a couple thousand respondents, you have a generic congressional ballot that's got the Republicans up 8%, 9%. I mean, that's killer. That's killer. So by every metric, we're going to have at least one, maybe two houses of Congress flip. We'll have divided government. The market's going to like that. In fact, I think I see the market is going to start pricing in a divided government, which they will like, because you're less likely to get crazy stuff in that kind of environment. And there's a limit to what the president can do with executive authority. So anybody traveled by plane the last month or so?
I haven't, but I will in 2 weeks.
And what won't you have over your face?
I won't have a mask.
You won't have a face diaper over your face.
That's right.
Why?
Because we're all fed up with it.
Because in Florida, DeSantis went to a federal judge, and I dug down into that federal judge. It was a youngish lady appointed by Trump, and she said, this mask mandate's capricious, not worth it, and I'm making a nationwide ban.
Even Fauci has said it didn't work.
He works. Yeah.
When Fauci says it did not work, oh wow.
So why didn't the administration appeal that federal judge?
Because they would lose.
Exactly.
And they got an election coming up.
Exactly. You keep going up the judicial food
Made
chain.
the entire country mad.
You end up before the Supreme Court, and in this Supreme Court,
Done.
And the last thing they want is another public beatdown. They said, all right, so hold on to the truth. We have checks and balances. There's a big balance that's coming in the fall, I think, divided government, while we sort out what the next administration will look like. So stocks are on sale. If you have an advisor, talk to your advisor. And I'm not giving financial advice, but this is a good time to review your portfolio for asset allocation, stocks, bonds, cash. I personally have stayed 98% stock through the last 30 years. I've taken my beat down in the last 12 months. It sucks, but if you try to time the market, you got to be right twice. When you jump out, most people get that wrong. They only jump out after they've lost 10 or 15%, and then
That's the wrong time to jump out.
and then they're afraid to jump back in. And so you bought high, sold, you sold high, sold low, bought never, and so you missed the gain. You don't. Some of the firms that we work with, they have some nice analysis. If you don't have to miss many days of the correction to lose the gain. I mean, just yesterday the Nasdaq was up 4%. Other indexes up 1 or 2%. So you don't have to be out of the market long to miss the gain. So talk to your advisor. If you don't have one, get one. Most credit unions have financial advisors. Or track me down on social media, Facebook, Joe McLaughlin. But people who get help do better.
The name of the company is First Command, right?
Yeah, First Command Financial Plan.
Can you give us any insider training stuff? We won't tell.
I try to stay away from jail. It happened once, but I didn't like it then. And,
Well, Pelosi's husband gets it all the time. He's
yeah, it's so bad that the corruption in Washington. Jim Jordan threw a couple bombshells yesterday, Ray, for talking about the FBI.
He's my favorite.
Between Ron Johnson and Jim Jordan, the FBI is
They're the tank.
And it's the leadership. It's all
Yes,
the
it
people
is.
inside the
It's
DC.
not the agents. It's not
Right.
the guys on the beat.
Have you had John Legato in lately
No, but not lately. He's been working on a project
it's
that you're going
so
to
bad.
enjoy seeing, by the way.
Yeah, that's awesome. So it's a great time to check your portfolio for asset allocation. And if you don't know that term, or if you're not sure what amount of stocks, bonds, and cash you have, I was working with a client who's
Asset allocation.
Yeah, how much of your portfolio is stocks, bonds, cash?
Where it goes. Yeah.
Right, and so it's kind of hard. I was working with a municipal employed client this week, and they had a series of mutual funds in their 401k, and the charts on the statements are not very helpful. You can't tell. There's no ticker on the statement, so it's if your statement doesn't clearly break out what percent of stocks, bonds, and cash you have in your 401k, then you demand the person that's helping you or supposed to help you with that thing to tell you. And if they won't, give me a call, 910-937-1177. Because that's 96% of the ball game. If you want decent returns, you have to be in equities for the long term. If you want to put money away for 30 years and not have much to show for it, then put it in cash or bonds, and then you won't be very happy. But 96% of the ball game is how you allocated your portfolio among stocks, bonds, and cash. You must know that.
All right, guys, if you got a question for Joe, now's your time. We're going to take a quick break and get your calls in now. If you got a question about finances, about what should you do during this likely declared recession that we're going to have after sometime today.
Stay home and don't eat.
Yeah, go grow a garden for one thing. But
Yes, grow a garden.
Joe, remember when they used to be called victory gardens? You don't remember that, do you?
I remember the term. Sadly, I was not yet available to.
Well, I wasn't either, but I remember reading about it, and my parents told me about it too a lot. The World War II stuff.
Thrift used to be an American virtue.
Yeah. You're live in local Real Talk. Our number 910-333-0139. Don't go away. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. Joe McLaughlin, financial advisor, financial planner. He's in the studio with us this morning. We're talking about the upcoming recession. What is it going to mean? What will it actually mean just because the GDP is going to be up for the second quarter in a row? Is that for me on a daily basis? Do I need to go home, lock myself in a bunker? Do I need to go get on top of a building and get ready for the depression so I can jump off? What does it mean?
Good time to review your financial plan. If you don't have one, get one, and then consider getting into the market, I think, hypothetically. I mean, the people have been living with 6 months of bad economy. So this is no big wake-up call. Maybe if you're a consultant inside the Beltway in D.C., it's a shock to you because everything else that's good in your life is transparent to you. But for the average citizen, it's a great time to take stock of your financial future. Many Americans have a 401k thrift savings plan. As I said earlier, if you're not sure what your asset allocation is in terms of what percent of the things that you hold, stocks, bonds, and cash, now is a great time to look at it. I mean, every day a week I meet a new client or see a work-related 401k. If your advisor is a financial advisor, and that's a very specific term as opposed to registered representative. If your financial advisor is doing their homework, they are going to ask to see the statement of the other guy. What you should bring in your TSP statement, bring in your 401k statement, because I can assure you, if you're self-directed at a workplace 401k, you're not paying much attention on average.
Right.
And so bring in that statement. Let's drill down to what choices you have made or had made for you and what choices you have. And then most of the time we find that the pot of money that's out there at the workplace is not aligned with your goals and market risk tolerance. And that usually means you need to be more stock heavy. Which stocks is another, is it foreign? Is it U.S.? Is it a blended choice? So the 90% of the ball game is those choices, and most people are not tracking it.
Well, we're probably, everybody in this country is sitting back concerned like they were prior to World War II, but more oblivious than prior to World War II, 1939. But I think today more people are looking at the international scene. They're concerned about a war, upcoming war. Our military, our commandant of the Marine Corps is moving people out of Camp Lejeune. That's what's been going on since Obama was in office. When they got rid of the tanks, they lost some people. We got Osprey squadron's going to be leaving New River. We've got CH-53 squadron's going to be leaving New River. We've got artillery is going away. We're going to lose 10,000 Marines here out of 40,000.
Well, elections have consequences as they look to pare down costs. It could be a gainer. I mean, I always kind of chuckle as a former soldier. In the Army, all the infantry training is done at Fort Benning for the whole Army. It's in one place. But the Marines have somehow snookered Congress into, let's have School of Infantry East and School of Infantry West. And so a tough-minded Congress might say, well, you know what, Marine Corps, you figure out where you want to train Marines, and you only get one of them. But back a couple of steps, the foreign markets do play a key role in what's going on in your 401k. We had scares of a war after the first of the year. It's, we're going to war with the Russians, and the SecDef and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs all predicted Kyiv would fall in a matter of days. They kind of missed the ball on that one, just like they did Afghanistan. So Russia this week pretty much told Europe, you're not getting any more natural gas. Going to cause tremendous economic hardship in West Europe.
And how's that going to affect us?
Well,
absent
this president becoming more friendly for carbon, it's going to drive our prices through the roof. And but again, we have these things called elections. You're going to probably going to see a divided Congress, a more pro-energy, pro-business Congress. And there's a limit to what this president can do with executive action, because 25 attorneys general that are Republican will take them to court. They'll find a good court. They'll get an injunction against it. Sadly, North Carolina Attorney General Josh Stein, who aspires to be governor. He is not one of them. It's kind of ludicrous. You look around the country, to our northwest and south, you have all these Republican attorney generals, and whenever there's stupid stuff coming out of the executive, they challenge it in court, and they typically win. But not Josh Stein. He and Cooper are so dependent upon out-of-state PAC money.
Yep,
Yes,
they are.
exactly.
They are not going to get out of lockstep. I mean, just today on news on another channel, there's a judge has ruled in North Carolina that if you're a felon out of jail, but you haven't finished your sentence, you can vote. So that
as of yesterday, you can go register to vote if
That's
you're
right.
convicted but not serving time, if you're on parole or probation.
The progressive Democrats are pulling out all the stops to win this Senate seat in North Carolina.
Yes, they are. They're going to do everything they can.
They certainly are. I mean, every day it's ads for Sherry Beasley and door knocking, and they're wasting no time.
Yeah,
They're not waiting.
She's sending me stuff every day,
Okay.
asking for my vote.
She's trying to.
She doesn't know
She's
who
trying
I
to
am.
get you to
You're
cross
I'm
over.
unaffiliated, yes.
Yeah, so she's not running odds on Fox, obviously, but maybe on Channel 9 or other channels.
Yeah, I've seen it on their local ABC channel.
Yeah.
So
I get the emails.
see it every day.
So step back and look at the big picture. Where are you better off than you were 2 or 3 years ago? Your cost of goods, your safety.
Outrageous.
Sherry Beasley has contended for years that our criminal justice system is racist and corrupt. This is a woman that's every step of her political career, she's been appointed to successively higher positions on the bench by Democrat governors. We'll see.
Well, okay, we've got a call for you.
Hey, Tim, how are you?
Hey, buddy, how y'all doing?
Hey, Tim.
Good.
Hey, Tim.
Hey, man.
We're in the
Joe,
air
I got a
conditioner.
I got a dumb question for you, because I've been hearing you hear a lot of stuff, but I've been hearing a few things, and about 401k, and a lot of people's losing money on 401k, and I'm one of the lucky ones. I put mine in general fund way back because I'm an older guy, and but I hear more people talking about wanting to take their 401k money and put it in a compounded interest account. Does that ring a bell? I mean, I don't know nothing about it, and I wanted you to talk about that. I mean, I don't even know where you would. I don't even didn't think banks did compounded interest anymore or anything like that.
Well,
can you help me out with the answer?
Sure. So, there's the three big asset classes: stocks, bonds, cash. Stocks is an element of ownership, no guarantee you'll make a profit, but over long-term, stocks the best performing asset class. Then you've got bonds. Bonds are a debt instrument. You've lent money to somebody,
right?
So, like the G fund, you called it the general fund, but the government bond fund, that's a special category of government bond. It's got some extra protections, but over the long term, 10 years, it's returns 2% plus or minus compared to the C fund, which is probably 8 or more percent. Then you got and then you got cash. You can't lose money, but you're not going to make much money. So when you say that there's a thing out there called a compound interest account, savings accounts pay compound interest, bonds or money markets pay compound interest, but it sounds like some kind of bank depository agreement. And again, if you're not going to get where you want to go over the long term, if you're only making 1 or 2% compared to 8 or 9% of stocks, you're probably not.
My wife. No, go ahead.
So that's a good reminder. The key to your trajectory of your personal finances. Are you living on less than you make? Are you putting capital to work somehow? And for most people, that means putting extra savings into the market. And if you're putting
I was till this recession hit, and now it's all I can do.
But it's on paper. You said your friends have lost money. Well, they've lost it on paper. And if you've got another 6-12 months, so don't cut your spending back. It's one thing if you're pulling out money to live off from your investments, but if you don't need the money from your investments, then figure out how you're allocated. This is a good time to be stock heavy. Catch the rebound.
I got 15 shares of stock in one company, and it's pretty good. And I mean, I always look at it. I look at it about 2 or 3 times a week just to see what it is. I don't plan on taking it out anytime soon. But no, I hear about it, and I'm glad you come on. I just wanted to ask you about that. It's, all of a sudden I'm hearing people talk about compounding interest, and I I don't have a whole lot of wealth. I mean, I don't have much wealth. I'm working day to day just like everybody, 96% of the rest of the people in this country. And I talked to my wife, and she had lost a lot of money, and I said, just leave it alone, leave it alone. I said, I made that mistake 9/11. I switched my 401k. I lost $40,000 in one day. I switched my 401k over, and I had an old man named John Kelly. I'll never forget. He said, I'll just leave it right there. You'll get it back in 6 months. Yeah. I said, ain't no way. In 6 months, they got it back plus. So I failed. But and I told her then, I said, just leave it alone. Well, the rumor is the government's going to get it out. Just leave it alone. Don't mess with it. Just leave it alone. See how it rides.
Yeah, never forget we still have the right to bear arms. And if some progressive Democrat government were to try to expropriate your 401k, you, me, and Rayford, we'd be and Lee riding shotgun. We'd be driving to D.C. under arms because that's not going to happen because we have arms.
That's true. Yeah. But no, I wanted you to throw that in there. I mean, I've had a lot of people ask about it, and I thought, man, I don't know. I know 1 and 1 is 2. Yep. I don't know how much it costs for me to trim a horse or a donkey, but that's just about the end of it.
But that's why I have this favorite expression: people who get help do better. Are you your own doctor, your own CPA? People who get help do better, and the institutions that you bank at, they typically now have financial advisors either on site or by Zoom. And you can have more than one. If you hear something from the first bank guy that you're not sure about, ask the second one or call me. But people who get help do better. The benefit of an advisor is that person has helped hundreds, if not thousands of people along the same path as you. They kind of know what works and what doesn't.
Hey, Tim.
Well, besides Lee and Kelly, you're one of my favorites. I wish you would come on more often because I love listening to
What's his nickname?
Finance. I hadn't got one for Joe yet.
Well,
I owe you
he's not that special, then, is he?
I remember how to call him. Well, how to call him Mojo. Go ahead, Mojo. Well, that'll work right there.
Lee knows my nickname.
I like Mojo.
I know Joe's
All right, we'll see y'all later.
Bye, Tim.
Thank you, buddy.
Let's take a quick break. You're live and local Real Talk. We'll be right back.
Oh, shoot.
All right,
Yeah, that was me.
Joe, we're
Shoot.
you, I thought you were going to shoot Joe or something.
No.
What's
Oh,
what's
shoot.
going on here?
I forgot to give you this
That's
message
all
to
right.
call that person during the break. We'll do it
We'll
next
do it
break.
during this upcoming break.
Yeah.
Joe, I appreciate you coming in, sir. We
Always
got
a
to get you in
pleasure.
here more often. Tim's
Well,
absolutely right. You're a wealth of information,
Yes.
and in these economic times,
Yeah, we need
people
to
are
know.
asking questions.
Yeah.
People are
Yeah.
concerned.
For the average person like me who doesn't have stocks and bonds and
I don't have much.
big
Got-
money saved up.
This is such a great country. You know, never forget the three great things to wealth accumulate. You
Right.
gotta buy and hold three things. Have and hold three things. You gotta have stocks, either individually or through a mutual fund. You gotta have stocks if you're going to get that long term. Buy and hold a car. You know, if it as a financial advisor, when the client comes in and they've got two car payments of $400 or $600 each, you know that
There's a
that's
problem.
that means there's not going to be much there for Roth IRAs or things like that. And then last but not least, then have and hold a spouse.
Yep.
Have and hold a spouse. You know, a family, and that's why there's so much in America is jacked up, because we've allowed the family to be crushed.
Right.
At its essence, the family, two spouses, you know, that's an economic unit. Everything is easier raising kids, accumulating wealth if it's a two-person entity. So you know, if you're in a relationship, try to make it work. It doesn't always work, but it hurts. Everything is harder if it's a single parent family.
And that car routine, you're absolutely right. You know, when I got rid of the last one I had, I bought a used one, another used one. I like used vehicles.
Yeah, me too.
Got a good deal on it.
I thought it was brand new.
Yeah, it's a 2017 model.
It looks
My
nice.
Jeep.
You know, if the engine it's got a problem, go get a new engine. You know, it's a couple of $1,000s, but
It's cheaper than car payments.
You know, I finally had to
Oh,
put down my Oldsmobile Silhouette van circa 1998. It had 298,000 miles on it.
1968.
And after the first transmission that I had repaired died in the middle of Western Boulevard, I took it over to Bob Crumbs. I said, Bob, you know, the transmission that you rebuild, it's bad
Done.
again. And he said, well, you know, I can get you probably a rebuild, a new one, a good one for about $2,500. And I said, you know, I just can't do it. It's a 20-year-old car. But you know what? I wish I had.
Yeah.
Because that Silhouette van, it had a bigger cargo space than the typical pickup truck. But the choices that you make, whether it's living on less than you make, the transportation arrangements that you make, the personal relationship, it's not hard to accumulate wealth in this country. You can do it, and it's not a function of your pay. I mean, I always think of my retired Army E7 client. He works out range control Camp Lejeune, and he's done all those things, invested in stocks, had a plan,
Doing well.
and he's got 7-figure wealth, and you wouldn't think about it. You wouldn't think.
Well, I'm going to go do the lottery thing because it's over $1 billion now.
Yeah, I've already decided what I'm spending my money on. So when I win it.
Thank you so much, guys,
Joe,
for having me
appreciate
on.
it.
Thanks, Joe.
Go to work now.
Always a pleasure.
Go make somebody some money. That's the best thing. Here you go. You're live and local, Real Talk, Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME. We're going to reach out. I guess there's been an issue with water in some parts of the county. So we're going to find out when we come back. Okay, we're back. Lee Barrows and yours truly, Rayford Brown, for hour number 2 here, live and local, Real Talk.
Yeah.
And like I said before the break, there, I guess, has been a water outage in a part of the county.
Yeah, I
and
heard it
right
was
now,
Rain Tree subdivision, but we're going to find out.
Frankie Howard with Onwassa on the line with us right now. Good morning, Frankie.
Hey, good morning, Rayford. Thank you for calling me and having me on the show.
I appreciate you taking the time here to chat with us for a couple of minutes. Apparently, something happened yesterday, and then it got fixed, and then it happened again, or whatever. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's what I, excuse me, I'm sorry about that. That's what it sounds like. Checking with my crew this morning, and I've got emails, of course, throughout the night. If you haven't been on Gun Branch lately, you probably, or if you have, you've seen they're doing some work there at one of the creek crossings. The DOT contractor is, and a lot of times they work through the night, for the traffic. So that's what occurred. They've hit the water line there at the creek crossing a couple of times.
No.
Yep.
So
It's an 8-inch water line. Water line.
It's
Yeah.
a lot of water.
that's a big
Yeah.
water line to be cutting.
It's a big puddle.
It is. Yep. So we crews, of course, responded immediately and restored it. I think the last email I got at 3:45 this morning, they had water back on. Our crews did. So one of the things they're fighting after the first break was some air in the line. So they did work throughout the night before trying to flush the air out of the system.
So if people are waking up and they got to turn their water on in some of the areas, if it's spitting and sputtering, that's kind of like normal. You know what's happening.
Mhm.
It's just going to have to purge itself, right?
It is. And what they should, if they have provided us with a contact, they should have gotten a message through our system, because we do, send outage alerts.
Okay.
And if they didn't, they can go on our website, check out the map, and it'll clearly show the area that's impacted by this outage.
Okay. Now, when it's impacted, we're all familiar with boil your water before you drink it.
Yes, anytime we go below a certain PSI in the system, we have to do a low pressure advisory, which does, in fact, alert customers to boil their water until further notice. And we'll pull samples, and once those samples come back, we'll, lift that advisory.
Now, what is the purpose of that? What happens when there's a low pressure in a water line, like you have a break? There's a possibility of something happening, I guess, right?
Yeah, it's a possibility of back siphoning in the system. So if wherever this break is, or if there's another break unknown underground, it could pull contaminants into the system.
Mm-hmm.
It's not because we have seen that or we've found a contaminant. It's just an advisory because the pressure is low enough to allow back siphoning into the system.
Well, hopefully that will all take care of itself. No need to worry about water if you're going to take a shower or anything like that. But
no.
That includes making ice cubes, or if you've got a refrigerator with an ice maker in it.
Right.
Should they turn that ice maker off for the time being? Because the ice
It probably wouldn't hurt.
Yeah,
the ice is going to use that same water.
Yeah, the ice maker could start dumping ice in your
Yep.
bucket that you don't want to use.
Right, just in case.
What if you have a filter on your ice maker?
Well,
Would that help?
Well, it'll filter certain things, but just as an abundance of caution, it wouldn't hurt.
You see, I
dump
never
that out
thought
for
about the
fresh.
ice maker.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Yeah,
It is a good point.
that's why down in Mexico, when they say don't drink the water, but people will get a mixed drink with ice cubes in it. Well, duh.
Yeah.
Right. You just did it.
Yeah.
There you go. So that's kind of where that is.
Right.
I appreciate you thinking about getting us on and helping get the word out.
That's what we're here
Can
for.
we call on you in the future?
Anytime.
right.
You got my number.
We're gonna put you in our Rolodex here.
Yes.
We
I
don't-
appreciate that.
And if you ever have anything you need to get out, just call us. Let us know.
That is a good point. That's a good point. I will do that.
All right.
The-
Thank
the,
you.
The number that I called you from is our on-air number, our call-in number, so you can call that number if you need to get something out right away.
Right.
Awesome. Perfect.
Frankie, thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Anytime. Thank
All
y'all
right,
for calling.
you take care.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye. Onwassa's Onslow Water and Sewer Authority.
Yes.
And, they're got control of the water production in this county. That's good.
Right.
Yes, and,
Well, it's good to know. It's good to know. And like your question with the ice maker, excellent question. I
Mhm.
would have never thought of that.
really,
I would have boiled my water and then got some ice cubes and poured my tea over it.
yeah. Well, anyway, just take precautions if you're in that area, and again, if air gets into a line, it's going to have to get out,
Yes.
and your spigot may spit and sputter a little bit here
Mhm.
and there, whatever. So give it some time. It'll work itself out.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I learned that I finally put a new filter in my refrigerator from our water line.
Mhm.
And and it said to run about a
Oh
couple
yeah.
quarts of water out.
Oh yeah.
And boy, that thing was spitting and sputtering at first. I
Uh,
jumped. I was like, whoa,
yeah.
bomb.
Yeah. That's what happens when air gets into lines. Same
Yes.
thing, just kind of like in hydraulic steering things and all that kind of
Yes.
stuff on the boats. You got the same thing. Water gets in there, and air gets in there. You gotta purge it.
Mhm.
So I've learned a lot about this
Well,
stuff
I
down
learned
there.
about brake
Marine.
lines too. You
Yeah.
go to change
Oh
a
yeah.
caliper or something like that, and air gets in there, and you have to pump them. So
Well, that's what somebody
yeah.
else is going to do for me. I'm not going to be doing it.
I don't. When I was delivering mail and driving my own vehicle, I learned how to do most of the service on my own vehicle. I
Really?
mean, change tires. I could change a tire just like a NASCAR crew, and really fast. And I did my own oil changes, spark plug tune-ups, everything. But nowadays, I wouldn't even try.
Well, I don't even know where the spark plugs are
I know
anymore.
you
Good
lift the hood,
golly
and I'm
mo.
like,
What's
okay,
all that stuff? That doesn't look normal.
right.
But yeah, changing tires. Back in the day when I was a kid, teenager, I had a old station wagon, Chevy,
hmm
and new tires cost you like $20 or something each.
Yeah,
Yeah, recaps. Oh, I could get a recap
yeah, real cheap.
for about $7.
Yes.
I had 5 flats in 1 week with
Oh my
recaps,
gosh.
the same one.
I had 3 in 1 week while delivering mail.
Oh
Pouring
my.
rain each day.
Oh,
But I just got out and changed them. But there was
those.
a lot of construction going on the highway then, and
Other than big old truck tires, do they even do recaps anymore?
I don't know.
I haven't seen any.
I don't know. I
I
mean, they
wouldn't buy
advise not
any.
even to plug them anymore. You usually have to put the patch on them now.
Yeah. Oh. God, that plug-in was funny.
Oh, I learned how to do that. I was fortunate though. I had a neighbor that was a mechanic, and he taught me so much.
Well,
And when you're out there in the back roads in the country and you have a flat tire, you just can't sit and wait for somebody to come
nope,
help you.
nope,
You have to
nope.
get out and do it.
Yeah. Right now, I'm just going to call a friend.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
I'll
gonna
call
call it
Black's.
AAA.
I'll be calling Black's Tire Service. Hey, listen up. I've done
That's
it
right.
again. And,
Right.
they came out here one day,
Oh,
changed
that's
my tire.
great.
Yeah. I had a flat right down in the parking lot. And what is this about?
You'd be surprised how many people nowadays that don't even know how to change a tire and don't even know where to look for the spare.
Well, I can change the tire,
Mm-hmm.
but trying to get down there on these stupid worn out old knees is the problem.
Oh yeah.
I can do it, but oh my goodness.
And I've got these locking lug nuts now. You know, all
I've
the
got those too.
yes,
I'm
and you
like,
have to have a special tool. I mean, it's just
don't lose that
no.
because you ain't gonna go to the dime store and buy another one. I can tell you that right
I'll
now.
be calling my friend Robin.
Oh yeah. Hey,
I'll be like,
Robin. Guess
Robin.
what, Bubba? Come on down. Let's see where else we gotta
I got
go
some
here.
information that was just sent me. Of
Uh-huh.
course, I've not really had a chance to look at it and look at all aspects of it. But you remember there was the Comprehensive Toxins Pact Act that was in Congress at this time, and it was to provide compensation to a lot of our veterans that got sick from the various wars and overseas by
Right.
the
Yeah.
various toxins, and the Senate voted it down.
Really?
Yes, and
What
even
else did it include?
well, see, I don't know. I've got to go in there and really take a
That's what you're
look
gonna
at
have to
it.
do.
But of the 41 senators, but there was 41 senators who voted it down, and Tillis was one of them,
Yeah.
and Burr. So
So there's
um,
something in there.
yes,
That's what it is.
and I'd like to know: are they going to try to revamp this act? Are they going to try to put it somewhere else? So I'd like to get some information on it. But I'm definitely going to read it and research it and
Yeah.
find out what's going on with it. But yeah, I got a lot of people that upset about it.
Remember during the 2020 campaign, how people were asking and accusing, uh, then he was actually vice president, Joe Biden,
Yes.
want to know, that son of yours, the boy Hunter, Hunter, and
Yeah.
that business dealings that he had going on.
Mhm.
Well, while you were VP, did you help him out? Did you provide some information to him? Did you, have
Yeah.
some chats with him?
We know that wasn't true.
And he said, no.
No.
Well, guess what? Biden met with at least 14 of his son's business associates
Mhm.
while serving as the vice president in the Obama White House.
Yeah, a lot of stuff coming out.
He claimed he had no knowledge of his son's foreign business dealings. I have never spoken to my son about his overseas business dealings. That's what he said in 2019. He's a liar.
Just remind me of the days of Clinton.
14 of Hunter's business associates from the United States, Mexico, Ukraine, China, Kazakhstan, whatever that place is,
Don't even
over the
ask
course
me.
of his vice presidency. It's been revealed. Two
Do
of
tell.
Hunter's Mexican business associates visited the West Wing on February 26, 2014, according to the Obama White House visitor logs. And Joe Baby was later photographed with Hunter giving these two individuals a tour of the White House Brady press briefing room.
Well, isn't that just
There are
interesting?
photographs of this.
Wow.
Really?
I'm telling you. And what gets me is the evidence is out there. Why isn't something being done? Why? I mean, they have done nothing but deflect from this whole issue with Hunter Biden and his laptop and all the things that he's done. And I'm sure Joe Biden is just as deep in it as Hunter was. So
Let me
why?
read you this from
Oh no.
Hunter. Do you have pictures from the lunch I had in Dad's office? I think it was on 226 with Miguel Alaman and junior and senior, and Jeff Cooper. If so, let me know, and I can send someone to pick them up. Thanks. How was Kiev? That's what Hunter wrote in April 2014, an email to David Alinaman, Biden's official photographer during his 8 years as vice president.
Well,
He asked the photographer, and those emails have been recovered. He asked the photographer if he had photographs of the lunch that they had.
this guy is not smart at all. Not smart at all.
Other emails, Hunter arranged a video conference with his father and Carlos Slim, a Mexican billionaire with whom Hunter was seeking to do business with at the time. That was on October 30th, 2015. I did not have anything to do with my son's business dealings.
Right.
I am a liar. That would be the first thing he would say that would be a truth. Really?
Definitely. I just don't get it. Why? I mean, they're so focused on going after Trump, but yeah, they're letting this whole Biden fiasco just
The
slide
media
by.
is ignoring this.
They are ignoring it.
The FBI, sources inside the FBI have contacted Representative Grassley
Right.
and told him that the FBI has been covering up investigative reports,
believe that too.
investigations
Most
into Hunter
definitely.
Biden.
Most
They've
definitely.
been covering it up at the top of the FBI.
Oh, he's president. His dad's
Richard
president
Ray
now,
must
so-
go.
Right. We need to get John Legato in here. I'm sure he's got us some good
He
info.
probably does.
I know he's busy right now, but we need to get him in here. He needs to give us some intel.
If Hunter, this is one opinion piece that was written by a guy named Kevin Jackson. If Hunter Biden was Hunter Trump, just imagine that. As Chuck Schumer said, of those who want to get a Trump, they have 6 ways to Sunday to get you. But since Hunter is a Biden, he's temporarily part of the protected class, which brings me to point number 2, he says. Yes, when leftists speak of white privilege, Hunter Biden should be the poster child, because if Hunter Biden were black, he would be in prison.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Of course.
This guy is spot on.
Man. So here's one for you. What happened on this day in history? The 14th Amendment was certified,
Oh,
assuring
yes.
equality for all Americans.
Yeah. Guaranteeing, not giving equality.
Right.
All Americans are equal.
Yeah. Well, equality for all Americans, and I still think we're lacking a lot of that these
We
days.
certainly are.
Yeah. It's
If
just
Hunter Biden was black,
mhm.
and even if he was a Biden, he would be in prison for the
Right.
stuff that he's done.
Absolutely.
So why is he the protected class?
Because his dad's president right now, and I guarantee. Well,
Hunter said during the time his daddy was VP during that campaign, would you have been on that gas board in what was it, Ukraine?
Yes.
Would you have been a part of that gas board making those untold millions of dollars as it turned out? Would you have been considered for that position if your daddy was not the vice president? Nope, I would not.
No,
He
would
admitted
not
that.
have been. Yes, he did.
What
And
is
it's
wrong with us? And then some of y'all elected this guy to be president.
Yeah, but that's what gets me. How can the Democratic Party think that Joe Biden was going to be a good person to run for president, knowing that Biden had all
'Cause
this
they
history
covered
and
it up.
That's right.
But
Covering it up.
no other Democrat had enough name recognition, credibility, or whatever to run and beat Trump.
Well, then the Democratic Party did a poor choice of getting prepared and ready for that election.
They should have waited for 2024 and find the right person.
That's right.
It would have been an easier move instead of all of this garbage that's out there and putting this guy who is, I feel really bad for him or anybody else going through the.
I have to admit to that.
The things that are going, but I really hate the people that are doing it to him, and those are his own people, his own family.
Right. It's sad to watch him sometimes.
Family is doing it to him. The Democrat Party is doing it to him, and it is sad.
Well, I do believe that the Democratic Party made a big error in this, and it's going to hurt them tremendously come 2024 because look at what we've suffered since
it's
he's
going to
taken
hurt them
over.
this year.
The inflation,
the midterm. Oh,
now they're trying to ruin our military. It's just crazy. And
well,
these
that started
people,
under Obama.
Yeah, well, I know, but with all these recent things that General Berger, is proposing, it's just we are a laughing stock. We are a pure laughing stock right now.
Putin says, "I don't need to invade you. You're doing it to yourselves."
That's right.
It's the worst case of self-inflicted wound I've ever seen. You're live and local, Real Talk, 910-333-0139. Weather when we come back, and then your calls if you'd like to chat. If you like to go fishing, a lot of people like to go to fishing piers. It's a nice social thing to do
Yeah,
too. It's
I
a
used
lot
to
of fun out
love
there.
that.
I get
Yes.
that. Fishing aboard headboats can be fun too. They take you out to where they say the fish are. You don't have to wait for the fish to come to you.
Right.
They know where to go bottom fishing. But fishing from your own boat is the ultimate.
Mhm.
I tell you what, it's just flat fun
I would love it.
when you go out on your own boat. It's always a good time. Tideline Marine has boats for those of us who want to go when and where we like to go. I don't necessarily want to go with 30 other people on a headboat, go looking out. First of all, if one person gets sick, everybody seems to get sick.
You can't swing a line with 30 people on a
That's
boat.
pretty much the case. They just drop them straight overboard.
Right.
Lund John boats, top of the line boats, by the way, for the backwaters, creeks, and rivers of this area, on sale now at Tideline. There's the Aquasport Bay boats. Tideline was wise. George was very wise to order several before factories shut down during the pandemic. So the Aquasports are perfect when the rivers and sounds get a little choppy. They'll get you where you want to go safely. They're also really cool near shore if Spanish mackerel or reef fishing is your cup of tea. Tideline Marine, 159 Old Bridge Street, on the banks of the New River in downtown Jacksonville. Southwesterly flow of air continues today. Winds out of the southwest 15 to 20, seas 3 to 5, dominant period 5 seconds. Sounds and rivers will be choppy, just right for those Aquasport Bay boats.
Just
Southwesterly
fabulous.
winds tomorrow, 15 to 20, seas 3 to 5, sounds and rivers choppy. Pretty much the same story on Saturday, 10 to 15, winds coming down just a little bit, seas still running about 3 to 5 on Saturday.
Okay, reporting live from my Aqua Sports boat.
There you go.
Today, mostly sunny with a high near 95. Heat index values as high as 105.
Yeah, it's just miserable.
20% chance of afternoon thunderstorms. Tonight, mostly clear with a low around 80. Friday, mostly sunny with a high near 96. Heat index values as high as 109. Chance of rain is at 20%. Friday night, partly cloudy, low is 79. And then here comes Saturday, partly sunny with a high of 91. 70% chance of thunderstorms and rain. Saturday night, 60% chance of thunderstorms and rain with a low around 76. And Sunday, 60% chance of showers and storms likely with a high near 87. So we're
Cool, a
gonna
little
get
bit cooler.
washed
Now,
out this weekend.
for you guys right now, you know what goes up along with the temperature, right? When the temperature's
The
climbing.
humidity.
Well, what else?
Well, the chance of thunderstorms.
What else?
The heat index.
Your electric bill.
Oh, yeah, it does.
that's
Okay,
that's
yeah,
going to go
okay.
up as the temperatures increase.
Yes.
Your electric bill is you're going to try to keep it as cool as you had it before, but that air conditioner is going to be running a whole lot
Yes,
more.
well,
So be prepared. Close
mhm.
your dang doors. Pull the blinds
Pull
down.
the
Don't
blinds on the.
keep it as cool as you can. Keep the cool in and the heat out.
Yeah, well, you know
That
what? I
helps.
would love to have some advice from our viewers and listeners as to what they do to cut back their electricity bill during the hot months.
And what else do you do to stay cool when it's
That's
hot
right.
out there? What are you doing? What's the coolest? What is the coolest thing you do to try to stay cool? A lot of people go to the beach or swimming pools if
Well,
they
it's
can
hot
find
at the
one.
beach too.
Yeah, but to get in the water, which is cooler.
I'm not
The
getting
water
in the
temperature.
water. I'll go
What?
up to my knees, and that's about it. Because Jaws is out there.
No,
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 that
no,
movie
no,
spoiled
no,
me.
no. When that movie came out, I went to see the movie. Okay, I had to go see the movie. And a couple of weeks later, I took my annual vacation, drove down to Fort
Mhm.
Lauderdale to go diving, right?
Right,
At the dive shop, you know what they had on the window?
Jaws.
Jaws is dead.
I still watch it every time it comes out. I think I
It's
watch
pretty
that
cool.
movie more than anything
Yeah.
else. I don't know. I guess as you just get older, it just getting out there and fighting the currents and fighting the
Yeah.
waves and all the seaweed wrapping around your leg is just not as important as it used to be.
Well, seaweed is just mermaid's hair. It's okay.
Well, look, I
Whatever.
mean, when I go out, if you see me running, it's because something just wrapped around my leg, so I'm out. But yeah, we need some advice. Call in
What?
910-333-0139 and tell us what you're doing.
How do you stay cool and how do you keep your electric bill down
That's
during this
right. Yeah,
critical
because I
time?
know mine's gonna
Oh
be
my!
higher.
I got to say thank you to the Jacksonville Utilities Department. They came out to do the meter reading for the
Yes.
water last week, and My wife went out. They wanted to talk, so
Mhm.
they handed her your water usage has gone way up. We don't find any leaks anywhere.
But I have a healthy garden.
Well, no, that wasn't it. We
Uh-oh.
did have a leak
Oh,
going to the
no.
fountain. I didn't. So I called down there and they said, "Well, go find out where your problem is." And I said, "I will." I said, and they didn't. I didn't even ask, and they didn't tell me what the bill was going to be.
Mhm.
But then early this week, I got a notice, like I always do, $315.
No.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So I
That's about
called them and I said, and they said, send me an email about what you had and what you did. I did. They called back. They took off the sewer charge for all the excess water that I
Oh,
use
that's
because it
great.
didn't go into
Right,
the
didn't
sewer
go into the
system.
sewage.
So they were gracious and did that. That dropped it over $100.
Right.
Thank you.
Yes.
To the city.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but if you were to put a swimming pool in your backyard and you use the city water to fill it out,
Mhm.
fill it up, you can call ahead of time and get a form that you can fill
Yep.
out and give to them.
Yep.
That'll cover that expense.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you can pay for the water, but you don't have to pay for the
right.
sewer charge on
That's
top of
right.
the water. That's the thing.
Yeah.
They don't measure your sewage. They just measure your water
Right.
and figure it's all going into their system.
Exactly. Yeah.
That so when you wash your cars at home, you're paying for a sewer charge too.
That's right. As it runs down the driveway
Or
into the
there you go.
uh,
So whatever's. And same thing if you're watering your lawn or you're
Mhm.
watering your garden or anything else, you're paying a sewer charge for that, even though it's going straight into the ground.
that's right.
Just FYI, y'all.
That's right.
U.S. Capitol Police said yesterday afternoon that it will not allow violence or unlawful behavior during the congressional baseball game after several left-wing groups threatened to shut down the event. It's scheduled for tonight.
Ooh.
U.S. Capitol Police Chief Tom Manger addressed the rumored protest yesterday. He sent out a tweet. He said, "A message from U.S. Capitol Police Chief Tom Manger ahead of tomorrow," that's today, congressional baseball game for charity. "We are aware that demonstrators are planning to protest political issues at the congressional baseball game for charity. Our mission is to protect the members of Congress during this family event, so we have a robust security plan in place. We urge anyone who's thinking about causing trouble at the charity game to stay home. We will not tolerate violence or any unlawful behavior during this family event."
Well, I just text our congressman to see if he's playing tonight.
Manger's statement comes after several groups threatened to shut down the event because Congress isn't taking strong enough action to address the climate crisis. That game is scheduled for 7:05 this evening. On July 20, here's you get ready for this one.
Yes.
On July 28th, we will converge en masse on the congressional baseball game. Manchin and the GOP are torching our planet and accelerating inflation, all to make their polluter friends even richer. Democrats need to step up or risk losing our generation to apathy and despair, to heat waves and wildfires. That's what the group Now or Never has on their website.
Wow.
We disrupted Brett Kavanaugh's steak dinner, and we will disrupt the congressional baseball game. The monsters tearing apart our country deserve no peace. That's what Shut Down DC tweeted a week ago. A leader for one of the organizations supporting the protest, Chesapeake Climate Action Network's federal campaigns director, Quentin Scott, said that Congress members should not be participating in the game when droughts, heat waves, and wildfires have caused billions of dollars in damage. He said Democrats need to get back into Congress and negotiate and find a way to overcome this.
This is just a baseball game
For charity.
for charity. People settle down, and it's after hours.
Okay, here's my suggestion, y'all. For the Capitol Police, get yourself a mounted horse patrol. I don't know whether they have them or not, but other police in the area do.
Right.
Bring the mounted police, the horseback riders in, okay? And then bring every police dog they can round up in.
Yeah.
And finally, bring out a pumper unit from the Washington D.C. Fire Department with 2-inch hoses surrounding the stadium.
Now,
That's the kind of action I would enjoy.
those tanks that they took away would have come in handy during this. So just line up those tanks.
Yeah.
Good God. I'm so tired of every group in America that wants to constantly protest, protest, protest. Why? It's a baseball game for charity, for goodness
Peaceful
sakes.
protesting, I don't, you stand around with some signs, go for it.
Right.
Blocking the way,
Exactly.
getting in my way, obstructing what I want to do,
Right.
harassing a Supreme Court justice while he's eating a steak dinner.
Yes.
That
Horrible.
can go two ways, people.
That's right.
You understand that? You think it's freedom of speech, your right to the First Amendment? No, it's not.
Right.
You interrupt me, you have now infringed upon my right. Do your rights stop where my rights begin?
And that's what a lot of people just
Don't
I'm
understand.
so tired of hearing this. It's my First Amendment right. Well, when you start infringing on others' rights, then it stops being your First
You
Amendment
don't
right.
have it anymore.
That's right. And just getting on social media and other things and bashing people. I mean, yeah, it's your First Amendment right. You can say what you want to say, but come on, there's a line of respect in all this too.
Mhm.
And that's what a lot of people, but this protesting a baseball game. I mean, really? Really? He's not, he might be in session. He's not answering.
This deal that supposedly Biden is making to get the Brittney Griner and this other guy
Right.
out of Russian, there's word that he will do a prisoner swap with a guy known as Russia's Merchant of Death, Victor Bout. He was convicted of conspiring to kill Americans and aiding a terrorist group back in 2011. We've got him. He's a Russian arms dealer.
Good.
Weapons sales fueled deadly conflicts around the world.
I'll tell you, I don't know what this world's coming to. I really don't.
He's serving a 25-year prison sentence in U.S.
Really.
Conspiring to kill Americans, conspiracy to deliver anti-aircraft missiles, and aiding a terrorist organization.
Why 25 years? He needs life.
Well, it might be life for him.
Good Lord.
He was picked up in 2008 in a sting operation at a hotel in Thailand. He met with Drug Enforcement Administration informants who were posing as officials with the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia, which is a narco-terrorist group. A lot of people don't understand. Terrorists come in all sorts of forms. And narcotics dealers, traffickers down in Colombia, other parts of South America, Central America, Honduras, Nicaragua, of course, Colombia, I just mentioned, Haiti. These people trafficking, they're just as much a terrorist as the Bin Laden gang.
Absolutely.
They're merchants of death, absolutely. And this guy was trying to get arms to sell to them, what he thought was them. It was our DEA, but DEA informants.
Yeah.
He has been
Surprised.
He has been known to sell missiles.
Oh,
Okay. Where does he get this stuff?
yeah, really.
He's an international arms dealer, definitely a merchant of death.
Yes.
He's Russian,
Whew.
and we've got him.
Yeah, good.
Good.
You want to trade?
We need to keep him.
Yeah, definitely.
If, I trade him, but then, he needs to meet his maker after the trade. You're live and local, Real Talk on Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME. We'll be right back. All right. So we do know now that our congressman is
Yes, he just sent us a picture.
is going to be playing in the ball game tonight.
He's in his red shirt
Mhm.
with a little Republican elephant on it.
I bet he does. This guy Bout, the merchant of death that's in our prison system right now,
Yes.
found out why Russia wants him so bad. Former Defense Intelligence Agency officer Rebecca
Yeah.
Koffler. She's an author now too. She's author of Putin's Playbook: Russia's Secret Plan to Defeat America. She says that Moscow wants him back because he possesses critical insights that he can share with his former agency. Having been in a U.S. prison and interrogated by U.S. officials, he knows what our intelligence requirements are and other information that is valuable for the Russians. Okay, they don't want him back for his killing ability or selling missiles. They want him back to get what kind of information he has. So what we need to do is give him a drug, long-lasting, slow-acting drug that's going to make him really, 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 really
Mhm.
lose his mind
Right. Well, yeah.
before they can get all the information from him. That would work. Sorry,
All right. You
that's-
sent
that's-
something
that's
else now.
some ways to deal with things.
Yeah, schedule with get you something going on. Okay. All right. He said call Kate and get him
Get
on
on.
the schedule to call tomorrow.
I will do that.
So you have Kate's number?
No, but I got her email.
Yes. Okay. I
What
have her
what
number
we're
too.
trying to do is get the congressman to come on, Congressman Murphy to come on tomorrow morning to tell us about the ball game
That's right.
going tonight and
A little fun.
other little issues too, including this information about the
Pack Act.
yeah. Well, how about the reduction of
That's right.
our
That's
military
yes,
here, the Marine Corps?
definitely.
What in the Sam Hill's going on? Because I understand he's an unhappy camper, so we'll get all that on.
Yes.
So we'll send Kate an email here just as soon as the show's over. Okay, guys, if you got something you want to ask or say to this morning, feel free to ring us up, 910-333-0139. I know some of you have switched over, but not everybody has been able to get us or hasn't chosen to go that route. YouTube is fairly easy. I was not a YouTuber, but I had looked at it from time to time. Even I can post stuff on
Yeah,
it now.
you've already posted a couple of videos.
I got 2 or 3 videos, underwater videos. So if you want to go to our YouTube channel, just go to youtube.com and then type in up there at the top in that little box that says search, put live and local real talk. And I was doing just to, show you folks some underwater videos. One of them is of
very
a
nice.
big old 6-foot eel.
Yeah.
Another one is a
Sting
octopus that's about 4 feet across when he opens up. And then the other one is it's a sort of a rare find for me. More the octopus was a rare find for me, but I've seen lots of little ones. I haven't seen one that big, but also got the spotted eel. I mean, a spotted ray.
Yes.
Eagle ray.
Is that like a stingray?
Well, they all stingrays, but this is he's got a very long tail if you look at it.
Right.
It's
Very spotted.
but
too.
I don't know whether they even have barbs or not, but they're pretty.
I don't want to know.
They're very pretty.
I'll stay away from them.
Yeah, kind of nice. And I'm not a marine biologist, but I just like to see the stuff underwater. Figured you might want to catch a glimpse too, because in a couple of weeks I'm going to be there.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
We're going to revamp this whole place while you're gone.
Okay, whatever.
We're going to change colors. We're going to put in some girly stuff. Just kidding. We're going to paint it hen-house yellow.
Hen-house yellow.
Hey, we got a lot of stuff coming up this week, and July 30th, which is Saturday, is the Running with the Law.
Yes, it is. You want to get out there and try to run with the cops, try to outrun them?
Well,
go for it.
Yeah, go ahead. I want to see it. Just give them a hubcap and see how fast they can run.
Yeah.
I want to run with the canines. I bet those dogs are fast.
Oh, yeah. And you want to know just how fast a person can run?
Sick a dog after them.
Put a police dog chasing them.
Well,
you will run just as fast as you can absolutely run.
I told you my favorite show came back on over the last weekend, and my blood pressure was up just watching it. It was so many chases. I mean, it was all live. But what got me is like watching this one car flip over, and the guy gets out and starts running, and there goes, they let the dog loose. And a few seconds later, you hear the guy just a screaming, "Get off, get off." I mean, oh man, those dogs are fast
Hmm.
and they're training. It's just remarkable how they can train those dogs like they do.
We talked briefly about it, but Manchin, Senator Joe Manchin, he's a Democrat, but he's what they call a moderate Democrat, and he votes with the Republicans quite
Hmm.
often. He votes against his own party wishes in the Senate. He said yesterday he's come to an agreement with Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, a reconciliation bill. He's I've been opposed to it. It wouldn't go anywhere without him.
Right.
Uh, he was opposed to it for more than a year. They've been working out something, negotiations with Democrats. Manchin ticked off the Democrats for many months, consistently refusing to support party line legislation that at one point Democrats wanted to cost over $3 trillion.
Woo.
They turned the legislation Build Back Better. Manchin shut down negotiations on it late last year. But with Democrats needing some kind of a legislative win with the upcoming midterms, Schumer kept up talks directly with Manchin. They've been meeting behind closed doors throughout the spring and into the summer. In the statement, Manchin said those talks resulted in a deal for a slimmed down bill that includes tax, climate, and prescription drug provisions. Don't know what all those provisions are, but it's going to cost money.
Oh my gosh.
And Republicans are a little bit upset with him.
Huh.
He's a Democrat, but he's been anti-Democrat stuff for so long.
Well, I got news for you after the next break.
Okay, let's take the break. You're live in Local Real Talk. We'll be right back. So I guess it's official now. Is that correct?
It's official now. The
Official is
U.S. economy shrank 0.9% in the second quarter, entering technical recession.
okay. So we are now officially in a recession.
We're now
Two,
officially in a recession.
2 GDPs
Yes,
in a
in a
row
row.
that
Said
you realize.
economists had expected the U.S. economy to post tepid second quarter to growth. So
Oh, my. We're in a recession. What does that mean for the election? Because the election, of course, the fourth quarter, the third quarter could be okay, but we won't know that till we're almost in the election. We will be
Yes.
in the campaigning cycle. That's going to begin here right after Labor Day. That's when they really get out and start campaigning.
right. Well,
So,
we've got the recession, we got monkeypox, we got the BA.5 COVID variant. The military's leaving us.
not all.
Uh,
We're just
It's all shaping up. It's all coming together.
oh my goodness
There's
gracious.
a-
Hopefully, Dr. Murphy, Congressman Murphy, our third district representative, we think we're going to have him tomorrow morning at
We're going
7:30.
to try. We want to get a report on the baseball game
And,
tonight and other
and
things.
this other stuff that we picked up on earlier this week,
Right.
and see what he knows about it. I understand when he found out about it, he was an unhappy camper.
Yes. Well, I
So,
imagine so.
Yeah,
He's done a lot for our military here on
Yeah,
the East
he
Coast
has.
in North Carolina. So
and North Carolina is the friendliest military state there is.
yes.
But I'm going to tell you, we civilians, the civilian communities in North Carolina, and our legislators in North Carolina are letting down a lot of veterans, and a lot of these people, when they get out of the Marine Corps, and even when they retire, they leave.
Right.
We do have a faction that will stay here.
Yes, we
But
do.
we haven't done what we should do for our veterans.
Absolutely.
It's a little discouraging
Yes.
to see that. By the same token, I don't like that NC 172 through Camp Lejeune is closed.
I don't either, and I don't understand why.
Well, it came about because of 9/11, that kind of
But
stuff.
that was
20 years ago.
20 years ago.
And yes, it goes through their base, but for
It's
the
a
folks,
back
if
road.
you're in Sneads Ferry and you want to go to Swansboro,
No, you have to drive 30 miles.
you got to go back to Jacksonville,
Right.
then around.
Right.
And besides, that drive through Camp Lejeune, it's just so pleasant. Especially, we used to do it coming back from Sneads Ferry at
Mhm.
nighttime
And the deer.
and looking for the deer.
Yes.
We counted
Always a lot of deer.
You go on a full moon when the deer are out feeding along the road,
Yes.
especially in the spring when the
Yes.
grass is green along the road,
Right.
but their grass in the woods is not green. That's why they were always out there.
Mhm.
You just drive slow. And I can remember as a kid counting like 15 or 18 just in that drive.
Right.
Wow, that's a lot.
It is, but it was a beautiful drive.
It's a beautiful drive.
because
So
they keep
there-
that road very nice.
There needs to be some kind of an arrangement both ways. Our legislators, and one of them is a Marine. He's retired.
Yes.
He luckily did not suffer any of the pains that a lot of other Marines are suffering.
Right.
That with activities today. They've been blown up. They've been hurt.
Right.
They've got PTS. That they had it back then too. They
That's
used to
right.
call it all other things. But there's some stuff out there that will help that's not addictive instead of going out taking a bunch of prescribed pain opioids. Because a lot of them won't take it. A lot of them do take it and they die. 22 veterans commit suicide every day.
Yes.
Every day in this country.
It's sad.
22 military veterans are committing suicide at the rate of 22 per day.
It's sad the way our veterans are treated. I told you the story about when my dad went into rehab because he had pneumonia and at his age, and it does a lot to older
Yep,
people.
it does.
And of course, there are no rehab centers for veterans around here. They usually have to go to a nursing home that has a rehab.
Right.
The horribleness that I witnessed, the way our veterans were
It's
treated,
ridiculous.
it was horrible. It was just, it would make you cry. We had one gentleman that was brought into his room and he was wearing nothing but a gown and he had dementia. And I had to beg a nurse to put some bottoms on him. It was just, it was troublesome to watch how these veterans were treated. Terrible.
Ridiculous.
Yes.
Totally
It just broke my heart.
ridiculous.
And that was something I was going to work with Walter Jones on
Hmm.
before he passed away. And then that happened. So,
Yeah. All right, we'll wrap up this day. Hopefully, we'll have the congressman on tomorrow at 7:30.
yes,
Talk
I'm going to
about
watch the game tonight.
talk about a bunch of stuff. See how well he does. I wonder if he can hit the ball.
I don't, yeah, I think he got a hit the last time
Did he?
last year. I
Hmm.
think if I remember correctly, but it should show it on C-SPAN tonight. So
Yes,
I'm going to watch it.
I would
Get my
imagine there are going to be
popcorn.
a lot of news crews
Yes,
on the scene for this one.
right,
Probably more than normal. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you tomorrow morning.
right.
We're not sure whether Kelly's coming in or not, but hopefully she needs to get a little R&R.
Yeah,
You know,
she needs
really
a
does.
she needs a trip to the Bahamas or
There
something.
you go.
She needs a good bond here. You just stay here. She'll go in your place.
Only if she can dive.
She can tell you she can dive.
Well,
How about that?
she could go and stay on the computer down there and be live with you in the mornings.
Well, that's true.
Yeah. You're live and local Real Talk Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME. Coming up next is Fox News, a Fox News break. And at 10 o'clock this morning, the Daily D's with Rick Dees. He'll be joining the operation here. And at 3 o'clock this afternoon, it's our one and only, the very, very Hollywood man will be here at 3 o'clock. See you tomorrow.